Hello vlog, I am back vlogging again. I still have to catch my breath. I just did, well, it was a bit ago, I did an intense workout. Like, I've already cleaned up and changed, obviously, but I'm still like catching my breath from it. It was quite the workout. But anyway, I am vlogging myself reading, hello, Tress of the Emerald Sea. I said I was gonna vlog myself reading this, and you might have seen this book in my Pango Books haul. It's in excellent condition for being a used book. I got it for like $11 when it's originally $30. So if you want to buy from Pango Books, I always have my code in the description. Not sponsored, but just if you want to get a discount, that's just something. But it's so pretty inside the cover, and then there's artwork. Hold on. I've only read a chapter, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've read so far, but isn't that beautiful? It's by, who did the artwork? Carlos Guillamera. I might have pronounced that wrong, I'm so sorry. But it is on the back, if you can read that. It's beautiful artwork. But I haven't ever read Brandon Sanderson before this. It's something I've mentioned every time I've mentioned this book. I read a lot of fantasy, and I've had so many friends tell me I need to try a Brandon Sanderson book. A lot of my friends have talked about his world building. I've also heard that he's like constantly writing, and so far I have found that like even in the first chapter, he already sets up the world, the planet where Tress lives quite a bit, but not in a way that was overwhelming, even though it was like, how many pages? 3 pages where I already kind of got the gist of where Tress, whose birth name was Glorf. So it's this planet that has 12 moons, but she lives in this place called Diggins Point that not a lot of people live, and you can't leave Diggins Point because it's very dangerous, not necessarily just to leave, but just it's a dangerous place. There are these things called spores. It's just, like I said, there was a lot to begin with, but I really liked his writing so far, Brandon Sanderson's writing. He has a lot of sarcastic jokes in here. He also says in the first chapter, no locals were to be taken from Diggins Point ever. And then Tress says she's thinking like, I shall be fine to remain here all my life. So I literally wrote in the book, so she's gonna be taken. Like she's definitely like, I'm already picking that up from the first chapter. I'm excited to keep reading more because it has drawn me in. I've heard a lot of great things about this book specifically. As I already said, I've heard a lot of good things about Brandon Sanderson's writing, and I have enjoyed it so far, even having read like 5 pages. I do plan on reading more today. I unfortunately have to leave in a couple minutes, so I'm not going to be able to read until I go to bed. Before bed is probably when I'm going to read more, but tomorrow is when I'll be vlogging more of my reading of Tress of the Emerald Sea, and yeah, this has been an intro that has been all over the place, but yeah, also I cut my hair if you haven't seen it yet. So I'm only 50 pages in, but I already have so many thoughts, head full. Like, I love Tress and how she's just like, I just need my cups and my family. Like, she doesn't have wanderlust. She's not like this super strong protagonist. She's not like, she's more average, even though like her mom says she's extraordinary, and I do think there's more to her. Like, I think she might be connected to the Iriali. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right in some way. But just the way that she's just like quiet and chill when there's, I love when there's so many different types of heroine. Like, you can be the quiet girl, you can be the strong, loud girl, you can be like all these different types. I think that's so important to me. Also, did I already say it's so funny? The book has been so funny so far. I love the narrator. I think Hoyd was his name. And it's just, I mean, obviously it's like Brandon Sanderson's sense of humor, but it's really reminding me of like Terry Pratchett and like The Princess Bride and that kind of stuff. So, oh yeah, and I love Tress and Charlie so much. I hate the Duke. If the Duke has one hater, it's me. And probably the King. I haven't met him yet. Where I'm at, Tress is kind of a prisoner on a ship that's run by smugglers. She didn't know it was run by smugglers. She's trying to get to Charlie because he was sent off to kind of be a prisoner of the sorceress, and she is holding him for ransom, but obviously the Duke won't pay it because he doesn't really like his son, and because he's in love with Tress and she's a commoner and that's not allowed, and then the King doesn't care. So no one's paying his ransom, so Tress is like, I have to save him, which is like the only reason she's leaving the rock is what they kind of call her island. I really love how there was foreshadowing for that, but then Brandon was kind of like, he said exactly what was going to happen, but then scratched that, reversed it. Like it was the opposite is what kind of happened, if that makes sense, or they just traded places. But I've really been liking it so far. And like I said, I'm only 50 pages in and I'm about to read some more. I did have to take a break to play Sims. That was very important and I had to do it, but I'm gonna get back to reading now. So where I'm at, Tress has gained an animal companion. Sorry about the shadows. I just can't do anything about that. But it's a talking rat and I love animal companions and talking animals, so I'm loving this. I'm also very excited because I can tell she's gonna have a pirate arc and I love pirates. I definitely had a pirate phase after seeing Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and I think Pirates of the Caribbean came out around the same time. I would not survive as a pirate, but it's fun to imagine and it's fun to get lost in pirate stories, so I cannot wait for this pirate arc. So by the time I finished reading yesterday, it was a little too late to vlog, but I've been really enjoying it so far. I met Hoyt again, and from what I understand, Brandon puts Hoyt into as many stories as he can. Is he the narrator of a lot of Brandon's stories? Is he like a time travel world traveler? Are all of his worlds connected? Or all of Brandon's stories like in the same world? I need to read more books to find out. I just have to know more about Hoyt. I am connecting dots that I don't even know exist yet. So that's going on. And then I really love Huck. Obviously Huck is very lovable, he's very silly, and he's the talking rat. And Tress is all about standing up to bullies, and there's this pirate crew that's like a found family that I am obsessed with. So the pirates of this world, there's two types of pirates of this world, but a lot of the pirates are just kind of like Robin Hood types, which, you know, love that for them. I've really been enjoying the world building of this book and the story in general, and yeah, I'm about halfway done. I could potentially finish it today, but I'll probably finish it tomorrow because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not much of a speed reader. I've had my moments where I've just sped through books, but for the most part, I like to take it slower to enjoy it more, but also I just personally can't. I don't know if it's my ADHD or what it is, but like after 100 pages a day, that's really all I can do, is like 100 pages a day, even taking breaks between reading because I do that a lot as well. At some point, I stop being able to focus even if I just took a break. I'm thinking about other things I have to do or even want to do, because this is just a little bit about me. I have a ton of different hobbies. Like, I hope this doesn't sound like a brag or anything, but I have a lot of different creative hobbies and cozy hobbies that I love to participate in, and I have to for my own well-being on days off, and just like every day do at least one or two of these things, and on my days off I have to do multiple or I will become unwell. Like, I love reading so much, but I have other stuff that I also really enjoy, and I just have to do multiple things. I think it's so important as an adult to have creative hobbies and to do these things for yourself instead of for like a paycheck, but just have all these other pursuits. And arts and crafts as an adult is what? Still doing arts and crafts as an adult is so important to me, and I just think everyone should continue to do arts and crafts as an adult. And also my allergies are really bothering me. Off topic, but I feel like you can even see it in my face that my allergies are really bothering me. Anyone else having allergy issues right now? Let me know. All right, that was an interesting ramble that I just went on that probably didn't make any sense because I just was talking, and this is a vlog, so it's not really scripted. It's just me saying things, and that's why we are here. Okay, I'll continue reading now. I wanted to take one more second to talk about creative hobbies because I mentioned that I think it's so important to do them for yourself and like not as a job or that kind of stuff, to have these different hobbies, because for me also part of it is like, well, one, it's relaxing, but two, you're not putting the pressure on yourself to be perfect. Like, I'm not that good at drawing, but I love to draw, and so I'm not doing it for anyone other than myself, and I just think that's kind of important, and that's just something I just decided to add to this video because I was just talking about how it's so important to me to be able to do multiple of my hobbies. Like, I love writing and I love music and all that kind of stuff, and I love playing with Legos and like all this kind of stuff that is just so relaxing and calming and lets you be a little bit creative and just that kind of stuff. I like making bracelets. Arts and crafts, they're so important, and yeah, that's just for some reason something I decided to add to this video. So I finished the book. My allergies are bothering me if you can hear the congestion, but I really enjoyed it. I learned more about Hoyd. He is a sorcerer, he's immortal, I learned that, but I still want to read more Brandon Sanderson books to try to connect the dots with him and learn it and find out if he is a narrator of more books. That being said, I had a feeling when we met Huck that he was Charlie, because that's just Chuck without a C, and then it was explained that he couldn't say Chuck, so it ended up being Huck, and also other things he said throughout. I just kind of was hoping that he wasn't, because I was hoping they would get their happily ever after and a pet rat that could talk, but I guess the way it ended was fine. No, I actually really enjoyed the way it ended. It was so cute, so sweet. This book reminded me why I love fantasy and reading and stuff. Like, I haven't been in a huge reading slump, but with fantasy specifically, I haven't been able to read like straight fantasy. Like, this has romance in it. It's just a subplot. Like, the whole point of this is kind of love and like platonic love as well, because there is that found family trope in it. I mean, she ends up being a pirate captain, and I love that for Tress, but it just kind of reminded me why I love fantasy, and it had the same kind of humor of maybe like a Terry Pratchett, or even like Tolkien has humor in his, and I can't remember who wrote The Princess Bride. Why'd I say that so weird? The Princess Bride. That's a very funny book as well. So I think this just reminded me of those classic fantasy books that I've loved, because like I was saying, I've been in a little bit of a slump with fantasy. Like, I haven't been able to read fantasy without romance. Like, I've had to do romantasy or just contemporary romance, because when I read Murtagh, I was kind of bored the whole time. Like, I love dragons and I love fantasy, but I just was hoping for more romance, and I think I will continue to read books that are more romance heavy, just because that's what appeals to me personally. But also, this again reminded me why I love fantasy to begin with, and why I read romantasy, because I like books that take place in a fantasy world, and why from time to time I can read a book that's more fantasy heavy than it is romance heavy. But yeah, that's just kind of my review of this book. This might be a shorter video, but I really, really enjoyed reading this, and I highly, highly recommend it. I'm going to read more Brandon Sanderson books. I think I've said that so many times, but I've had specific ones friends have recommended to me that I'm going to read, and I just want to learn more about Hoyd. I'm going to have a cork board in my room someday that's just connecting the dots, trying to figure out little things about Hoyd, and I'm just going to be a Hoyd expert. That's what I'm going to be. So anyway, if you like this, please like and subscribe. I'm definitely going to do more reading vlogs, and I do love fantasy, and I have some fantasy recommendation videos coming out and romantasy recommendation videos, and I'm going to be reading a lot of romantasy and whatnot. So yeah, if you like this, stick around. Okay, bye.